Hello and welcome to the afternoon story time with Stoke-on-Trent Libraries and me, Librarian Chris. Now, as you know, it is National Storytelling Week this week, and I hope you've been inspired by some of the stories that you've heard so far. Well, today's story is based on the tale of Goldilocks and the Three Bears, but it is a little bit different, as you will discover. But before we get to my story, I have a challenge for you. Yes, that's right, I have a challenge. And the challenge is for you this week to tell a story to somebody you know. Now, it could be a long story, a short story, it could be an old story, something that you've read before, or it could be a brand new story. But the challenge is to tell someone you know a story this week. It could be a grandparent over the internet or another relative. It could be, you could take it in turns while you're sitting around the dinner table to tell a story. You could even tell a story to a teacher or a friend. It doesn't matter. You just need to try and tell one story this week to somebody you know. Do you think you can do it? I think you can do it. It's a lot of fun. And the great thing about reading and sharing and telling stories is that you can change them. You can rearrange them, mix them up, and you can even make them up in your head, make brand new stories out of the stories that you've read. And that's kind of what I've done with my story today. I've changed things a little bit because it's a lot of fun to use your imaginations and play around with stories. And with that said, it's time for me to tell a story to you. And it's called Golden Spokes and the Three Bears. And here it is. Golden Spokes and the Three Bears. Once upon a time, there were three bears who lived in a house deep in a peaceful wood. There was a great big daddy bear, there was a medium-sized mommy bear, and there was a little tiny baby bear. One day, when the three bears were up and out of bed, they made for themselves some yummy porridge. There was a great big bowl for Daddy Bear, a medium-sized bowl for Mommy Bear, and a tiny little, very cute bowl for Baby Bear. Now, usually, while they wait for their porridge to cool, the bears would sit in their chairs and read a book. Daddy Bear would sit in a great big chair. Mommy Bear would sit in a medium-sized chair, and Baby Bear would sit in a little tiny chair. But today was such a beautiful day that it gave Mommy Bear an idea. "Look," she said, "today is such a beautiful day. Why don't we take our books further in to the deep wood and read our books beneath a tree?" Daddy Bear and Baby Bear thought that this was an excellent idea, so all three took up their book, left the house and went into the wood. Daddy Bear took his great big book, Mommy Bear took her medium-sized book, and Baby Bear took his little tiny book. Now, it just so happened that after the three bears had gone further into that wood, that Golden Spokes was racing along the path. Golden Spokes was called Golden Spokes because for her birthday she had received a brand new bicycle with golden spokes in the wheels. And when she would race through the wood, the spokes would spin so fast and shine so bright that it looked like she was riding 2 golden suns. And as she was racing through the wood, she became a little bit hungry. And just then, she could smell the porridge that the bears had made and left in their house. So, Golden Spokes raced to the house, and she looked about. There was nobody there. So she raced to the door and looked about, but there was nobody there. So she opened the door and looked about, and that's when she saw the porridge sitting on the table. It looked so good she couldn't resist, so she raced to the biggest bowl. She tasted the porridge, but it was too hot, so she raced to the medium-sized bowl. But that was too hot too, so she raced to the tiny little bowl, which wasn't too hot at all, and so she gobbled up the lot. Oh dear, what's this? She'd eaten the porridge far too quickly, and now she had a tummy ache. "Oh, my tummy hurts," said Golden Spokes. "I know what I'll do. I'll sit in a chair and read my book until my tummy ache goes away." She sat in the great big chair, but it was too high. So she sat in the medium-sized chair, but it was too wide. And so she sat in the tiny little bear's tiny little chair, but it was too tiny for Golden Spokes, and it broke, and she fell on her bottom. "Oh," complained Golden Spokes, "my tummy hurts, and so does my bottom. I will find somewhere where I can lie down and rest." So she went upstairs and found 3 beds. A great big bed, but that was too hard. A medium-sized bed, but that was too soft. And a tiny little bed, which was actually quite perfect. So Golden Spokes settled down for a nap and hoped she'd feel better when she awoke. The 3 bears, who had had a lovely time reading their books in the wood, returned to their house. But Little Bear, who had been thinking about his yummy porridge, had left his book under a tree. The 3 bears walked up to the house and looked about, and they saw the door was open. "I don't remember leaving the door open," said Mommy Bear. The bears went in and looked about. "Someone's been eating my porridge," said Daddy Bear. "Someone's been eating my porridge," said Mommy Bear. "Someone's eaten all of my porridge," said Little Bear. The bears went to their chairs and looked about. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," said Daddy Bear. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," said Mommy Bear. "Somebody's broken my chair," said Little Bear. The bears went upstairs and looked about. "Someone's been sleeping in my bed," said Daddy Bear. "Someone's been sleeping in my bed," said Mommy Bear. "Someone's still sleeping in my bed," said Little Bear. And with that, the 3 bears woke up Golden Spokes. Shocked and afraid, Golden Spokes raced from the bed and raced down the stairs. She raced to the door, and she raced to her bike, and she raced into the wood, not thinking where she was going. Tired from racing away, she sat down under a tree. "Oh, what's that poking in my bottom?" And she discovered a tiny little book. She opened the book, and in it she read, "This book belongs to Little Bear." "Oh no, that little bear has left his book in the wood," said Golden Spokes. "I know I would feel very sad if I'd lost one of my books. Maybe I should take it back to him." So Golden Spokes raced back to the house of the three bears and knocked on the door. The three bears opened the door and looked at Golden Spokes. "I found this book in the wood and wanted to return it," she said. "Wow, you found my book," said Little Bear. "I love reading, thank you." "I love reading too," said Golden Spokes. "And I'm sorry I slept in your bed, and I'm sorry I broke your chair, and I'm sorry I ate all of your porridge." "Well, you shouldn't have done those things really," said Little Bear, "but I was getting a bit big for that chair anyway, and I had some of my dad's porridge. He's on a diet, and so it's okay, really. Do you want to be friends?" "Yes," said Golden Spokes. And so, from that day onwards, Little Bear and Golden Spokes became the best of friends, and they would ride into the peaceful wood and read a story together. And that is the end of my story. I hope you enjoyed it. Well, as you heard, my story was a little bit different from the traditional tale, and I hope you have a lot of fun this week making up and sharing your own stories. Now, don't forget that we will have another story time tomorrow and Friday at 1 p.m, so don't miss out on either of those. Also, before I go, I just wanted to remind you that if you're not already a member of Stoke-on-Trent Libraries, then you can join online. Just visit stoke.gov.uk/libraries and you can join there and start making use today of all of our wonderful digital resources and start requesting books, which brings me to my next point. Even though libraries are currently closed, you still can request and borrow books from us by using our click, call and collect service. Just visit stoke.gov.uk/click, call, collect for more information about that, so you can still enjoy library books. And also, if you do use our click, call and collect service, you can request one of these free gifts. It is a height chart for your wall, and on it are 100 Stoke reads. So lots of inspiration there for more reading. We will be back on Friday with our next Singing Bears online session. That'll be through Facebook Live this Friday at 10:30 a.m. Don't miss out on that if you've got little ones and toddlers. Lots of singing, lots of rhymes, lots of fun during that session. But for today, from me, thank you ever so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the session. Let us know in the comments what you thought. But for now, it's goodbye from me. Bye.